In 1974, a young law student walked into a courtroom. He smiled at the cameras, calm, confident, and polite. He didn't look dangerous. He didn't even look evil. He looked like someone you might trust. Someone you might sit beside in a bus or even ask for direction. But behind that smile was something far darker than anyone could imagine. This is the story of Ted Bundy, the man who fooled an entire nation. Ted Bundy was born Theodora Robert Bundy in 1946 in Burlington, Vermont. From the outside, his early life appeared ordinary. He was raised by his mother and grandparents, growing up in what seemed like a stable home. He was intelligent, polite, and well-spoken. As he got older, he blended in easily. He made friends, he studied hard, he volunteered in political campaigns. By the time he reached adulthood, he was studying law and building a reputation as someone responsible and trustworthy. There was nothing about him that raised an alarm. Nothing that hinted at the darkness beneath. But in the mid-1970s, something began to change. Young women started disappearing across Washington state. College campuses became hunting grounds for fear. Students vanished without warning. No sign of struggle, no clear suspect, just absence, disappearance. Investigators searched for patterns, but the perpetrators seemed invincible, unknown, untraceable, and all the while, Bundy remained in plain sight. He wasn't in hiding shadows. He wasn't locking away. He was living openly, attending classes, speaking politely, smiling. That was part of what made him so dangerous. Bundy understood trust. He knew how to appear harmless. He often pretended to be injured, wearing a cast or using crutches. He would ask for help, and people helped him because he looked normal, because he sounded sincere, because he didn't fit the image of a threat. As time passed, disappearances spread across multiple states. Communities became grieved with fear. Authorities struggled to connect the crimes. But Bundy's charm protected him. Friends described him as kind. Colleagues called him intelligent. Neighbors saw nothing suspicious. He had built a mask, and he wore it perfectly. In 1975, Bundy was finally arrested. But even then, his story was far from over. He defended himself in court, spoke with confidence, engaged with the media. People watched in disbelief as he appeared calm and composed. He didn't look like the monster they imagined. Then something unbelievable happened. He escaped. Not once, but twice. Using intelligence and patience, Bundy slipped through security and vanished. The idea that someone so dangerous would simply walk away shocked the nation. Eventually, he was recaptured in Florida. This time, the evidence was overwhelming. The trials were public, televised, watched across the country and beyond. People saw him speak, saw him smile, saw how easily he presented himself as rational and controlled. But beneath that calm exterior was the reality of his actions. In 1989, Bundy was executed. Yet his story remains one of the most unsettling in modern history. Not because of what he did alone, but because of how he appeared. He didn't look like a monster. He didn't behave like one. He looked like someone ordinary. And that's what made him truly terrifying. The story of Ted Bundy reminds us of something chilling. Evil doesn't always announce itself. It doesn't always hide behind frightening faces. Sometimes it wears a smile. It is the story of Theodore Robert Bundy, popularly known as Ted Bundy. Thanks. Subscribe to hear more stories like this as I bring you more stories on true crimes and history daily. Thank you. See you soon.